All right, so this video is to create your double exposure in Photoshop. Make sure to look at the video in the folder of knowledge of how to access Photoshop on your Chromebook. Okay, so we're going to go to File, Open. This is going to look different for you because you're going to have your Google Drive connected. Again, if you go to File, Open in Photoshop and you do not see Google Drive under this PC, so you go this PC, and if you do not see Google Drive, that means you have not watched the entire video and connected your Google Drive. So watch that video in the folder of knowledge. Okay, so I'm going to choose Pictures, and I'm going to choose my images. These are where my images are located in Pictures. Yours will be in this PC, Google Drive, My Drive, and then you should be able to find your pictures. All right, I'll give it a second to open these up. All right, up at the top, you'll notice there are two tabs for two of the pictures that I opened. All right, for this first image, I'm going to go up here to Select. I'm going to select all. Notice it gave me these marching ants, as they are called. Over here on the left-hand side, I need to choose my Move tool. It's the top tool on the left-hand side. Top tool on the left-hand side. It creates these scissors, which allow me to cut it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to drag it up to the tab of the other photo. I have not let go of my click yet. Please understand, I'm still holding down that click. I bring it down into my next photo, and then I let go. All right, I can move this around as I want to. La, la, la. Okay, looks good. All right, the next step. On the right-hand side, you will notice that I now have two layers. These are our layers. I have two layers here. Next step is to double click on the background to rename it. If I don't rename it, it stays as background and locks it, as you see here with the lock, so I'm not able to move it, and we don't want that. So I'm going to double click it, make it a layer. I can name this hand layer, or you can just keep it as layer 0. That is fine as well. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to click select my top layer, and then I'm going to take a look at my blending modes. Here are my blending modes up here. Once I click blending modes, I will find all of these really cool effects happening. It suggests in the directions to use screen, but you don't have to. If you find one that you really, really like instead, please go ahead and choose that one. All right, please play around at this point with the opacity of any layers, kind of like that. And then if you have a colored image, you can go up here to Image, Adjustments, and you've got all of these things that you can play around with. Hue, saturation, color balance is pretty fun, okay? But I'm going to leave mine as is. Okay, notice I've got this extra stuff here. I want to crop that out. So I'm going to go over here to my rectangular marquee tool. Now look, I'm just hovering over the tool and it is telling me what it is with that little bitty animation, which is pretty cool. So I choose my rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to click and drag to select, using those marching ants, I'm going to select what area I want to keep. I go up here to Image, Crop, and it chops off those bits that I did not want to keep. Okay, now if you ever do anything in Photoshop that you don't like or an oops, you can always go up here to Edit, Undo, and this will go step by step backwards for you, which is really, really nice. Okay, so let's say that I didn't want to crop it. Let's say that I instead wanted to make my tree texture layer match the size of my layer underneath. So what I'm going to do is make sure that my tree texture layer is selected, which it is. I'm going to go up here to Edit, Transform, and notice with Transform, I can do all kinds of things to this layer. I can do a scaling, rotate it, I can make it weird and skew it or distort it. You can play around with those things if you'd like to, but I know that I just need to scale it. So once I click Scale, it pops up with these little handles. These handles will allow me to change the size. So I'm going to grab the corner and pull it up. Resituate it here. Pull it up just a little bit. There we go. All right. Once I'm done making my scale changes, I want to click the check mark to let it know that I'm done. All right. Beautiful. Now at this point, I want to save my work. File, save as. Again, this is going to look different for you because you're going to be choosing Google Drive. Make sure to save it into My Drive. And I'm going to change the name here. And I want to call it Double Exposure. And I'll call it number 2 because I've actually already made a video with this. Double Exposure 2. And remember, I do want you to save it as a .psd. That's really important. But if for some reason it's not already there as a .psd, you can click on this and you've got all of these options, all of these file extensions that you can choose. This is where, for example, you would choose JPEG if I specified that I wanted your submission to be in JPEG. But for today, we want the PSD. All right. So again, save it to your Google Drive, press save. This box might pop up, just press OK, and you're done.